So each pool has a list of servers.
Each pool has a list of, we've called it name servers here.
There will be a server object.
You still have name servers.
Yes.
We're talking about the servers.
There's still going to be a server object, I think, as well, because for things like the calling, telling, the pool manager tells the name server, tells the mini DNS
Where
to
to
call
contact.
and to notify. That's still going to be a server object.
It doesn't have to have all the back-end information.
Yeah, but it won't be a persistent database object. It will be an object.
What host, what port.
Yeah, so okay, so yeah, there's an object that represents it. It doesn't include the persistent object mixin that we have.
Yes.
It's
just an object with a list of data that we use for
host name and then
host name
port. That's it. You don't need it. Do we need
to
find the back-end stuff in there?
There probably needs to be an arbitrary key value pairs because
How are the drivers going to get fun when the config gets read?
So when the config file is read, we look at the list of servers. The smile on your face. Yeah, it works. It's an extra conference room.
It's the biggest conference room in the building.
There's still going to be that list of servers of all of their details. So when the pool manager is started up, it needs to create an instance of the backend class for every server, so that it talks to each one is configured to talk effectively a client to each DNS server.
Does it have to be in the server object of all that information? It's a one-time shot.
No, I think loading up the backend wouldn't be in the server object.
Well, except for if I'm server A, how does it know which backend to use if I don't tell it which backend to use?
You do in the config file. It loads the backend up once at startup, or when we reload config, which is something we should implement.
So the server pool manager look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, by the way, it was around reloading of config, adding a server ability to reload config files. We just haven't plumbed it up on the fly. So we can do that to make it so that you can just, instead of restarting the process, send it a hop instead, it'll do its thing.
Yeah. Okay.
What's he doing?
I'm getting chips.
He's loaded to crisps. He knocked over a box.
Okay, so let me.
Trick is just stealing food.
Let's change
You
this.
don't knock over it.
We're going to need to look in that now, you know that.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the server full of storage. So it's storage and designate objects for pool. Objects for servers.
Hey, Manuel, you can hear us, right?
Somebody else.
I changed the line below.
That's fine.
Yes, I can hear you.
That set TCP key that goes away. So the server full service just got easier.
Yeah.
Because we are now going to define it. Are we going to tell the users how to generate a TCP key?
So we still have to, in the V1 API, we have the TCP endpoint. We haven't ported that to V2 yet. When we port that to V2, we're going to do it so that, one, it will, if you don't supply a key in, it will generate one for you, and we'll also add a scope next. Scope, so you create a TCP key either by supplying it or. Hey, how are you?
Good.
Long time no see.
Is this all you guys? No.
No. No. Eyes have been told to look that way.
You got kicked out of your conference room, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently it wasn't booked. It disappeared.
Oh.
Oh well.
We decided to take the biggest conference.
Yeah. This is not a bad space.
No.
No?
I'll leave you guys to.
Cool.
Okay, so where do we want to squeeze all this into? It doesn't make sense anymore to have a separate footprint.
No. It'll go under the pool manager service or service tool service.
Okay, so here we'll do this. Okay.
I may want to be split out into a couple of blueprints.
Yeah, so that might actually get split down, but
Yeah, so you might check it. You might have 2 or 3 reviews.
Well, actually, if I'm going to be creating an object up in server storage, I might as well go ahead and, well, I'll just put that out. It's not an object anymore. Yeah, hang on, I'm pulling out that first line there. My cursor keeps jumping. And down here. Ah. Templates. Okay. I'm reconnecting.
Oh.
So now Ron has faded a bit.
Ron's voice, you mean?
Yes.
Is that better?
Can you hear me, Emmanuel?
Not really.
I got a tip. I think we have to. Oh, yeah.
So I hear Muggsy. Well,
I'm beside it. Oh, hang on. It's
Are you
Okay.
actually using it?
yep. I can hear everybody now.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
Is that
is that
better?
Ron?
No.
That's Tim,
That was-
but I'm farther away.
Okay. Ron, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Editing this file.
Okay. I can hear you fine. That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. I was using the wrong microphone.
All right.
Okay. Do we think we've...
So whenever the fact that we're making T, we don't need agent at all anymore.
Implement the V2 create domain scheduler hint. What?
That's on when you create a domain, you can provide a hint. Specify a pool ID
Yeah, so the
via a hint.
wasn't target pool.
Okay. And then the other thing went away. Okay.
Okay.
Great. I like that we've condensed it down into something so small.
So if we have something like dev stack, or if we want to do something, do we have to do these steps manually?
Which steps?
The TC key,
Right.
Yes.
So,
yes.
not really. I mean, you script whatever you want of it.
Oh, you know, but you have to script it into DevStack to do it.
Oh, yeah. There have to be changes to DevStack anyway to spin up the pool manager.
How do we set up the mapping between the pool manager and the pools?
So we talked about in version 1, the pool manager is only going to be responsible for a single pool. So that would be the config option, saying I am responsible for this particular pool. Probably just use the default pool where we talked about, having that predefined UID similar to what he's done.
And then if you want a second pool, you have another pool manager with a different pool ID in its config.
So the pool manager comes up, so it says that I'm responsible for this pool.
It only there's only in version 1 only handles one pool. In version 2, maybe we can condense it so we can do multiple bookings.
But I think for the time being, I think for the foreseeable future, it'll be one pool manager per pool.
Yeah, it only really becomes a real necessity when you've got private pools. It'd be nice to have if you've got multiple. So
The flow will be for a second pool. You create it by the API. Just the config for the different pool managers.
then you start it up.
Then you start them up.
Okay, so
That's for the second. That's for a second.
no, I'm
pool.
saying I'm saying so. Initially, somebody creates a pool. So there's going to be an ID for the default one.
That'll be
the
written
fourth
out
one
by
will be
default.
we know what that
It's
ID
a well-known
is. It's
UUID that will be predefined in the docs and in all the sample config files and the default values for everything.
yeah, exactly.
And the default, yeah, no, I'm with you there. So the default pool will be defined in the config file in which section? Pool, not under pool manager, because that doesn't make sense, because you're telling it where the pool, what pool ID that it will be using is.
Our current config
So that would be under
sections-
default?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Our current config sections have config sections per individual component, and if it's common to 2, it goes up in the false one. So this is common to 2. So
So it'd be default, and there'd be a pool.
Default pool ID.
Okay. Equals, and then the default pool ID. All right, I'm kind of just expanding.
the migration should go look at that config option to find the ID for the first pool it's going to create during an upgrade or an initial stand-up of the database.
And it'll move this. Well, they won't do anything with servers.
Yeah. And again, if you look through the Keystone migrations, you'll find them doing exactly that pattern, and you have to be able to copy it.
Wait a second. What I happen all the stuff I put in here about servers? Oh, there it is, servers. So this would be. I'll just do this back. Okay. So we're implementing the add delete, the notifying stuff. The set tsig is gone. That'll be manual. So I'll just go ahead and note that. Add tsig key to DNS servers.
Yeah.
Doesn't do you feel that needs to be broken out into several, or is this okay to have?
Blueprint, but the actual code check-in might be.
Yeah, just want to try and not have 2,000 line changes coming in that are impossible to review.
Server pools have storage of just the and designate object for pool. We update the V1 server endpoint, so it continues to work with the pool name. We have the default pool defined. And we have a last update serial number, record and storage. 2 record set and storage. Yep. Server pool service has a lot more, but okay, I think we're good. When do you guys run by?
The specs.
Yeah.
Specs are pretty.
4 p.m. tonight?
Because you just type with the plan the whole way through,
right?
Wednesday of next week or the Wednesday after?
Yeah, it's Wednesday after.
Wednesday after.
a week and a half, and I'm not going to lie, it's going to be very, very low down on my list of priorities.
K release as being when we actually publish this. But at the same time, it's also we've reduced it quite nicely in scope.
Yeah, I think we could actually, we might be able to hit maybe.
I think
I feel like the services will be there, and there will be some.
Yeah,
usable.
I'm not really putting in such a huge amount of stuff into J3 though. Just before these.
No, we'll just get it done earlier.
Well, you never know. We might.
I know. Yeah, it's.
But if we get it in before J3, it means we have the release calendars to find the bugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, maybe if we target J3
Let's see.
as a best effort, we shouldn't break ourselves to try and get to it. But if we can,
Somebody was typing at the same time.
That wasn't me. Not
that's
this
the
time.
first.
Unless I was accidentally typing it into it instead of my browser.
Let's see if I can open that. Okay.
So some of the projects, this is what they call an optional one, will stop accepting new features at all first, which is probably because you need the time afterward to. Yeah. So
You want to leave a month and a half for stabilization?
well, that time where the actual feature freeze, where all of the projects are required to freeze, is 4th of September. But a lot of them, there's this optional feature freeze.
So whatever we can get done between now and September 4th.
Stop. Yeah.
So that's effectively a month.
That's not a lot of time.
No, it's not a lot of time. That's why I brought it up to actually go.
So now I'm not thinking so much in Juno.
Yeah.
But I do want to have a lot of it. I mean, we can still commit the code. I mean, we can still commit the code. You guys just don't accept it.
Yeah, that's possible. Graham suggested create a feature branch for it. We should talk to the info folks before we go and do that.
Yeah.
We don't even have
Right.
the info folks.
Because we want to give a talk, and obviously if I get to talk about it.
I think feature branch might be an interesting one if we get approval for it.
Yeah.
Because that means we could have a branch that just has all this stuff in it. We keep committing into it, and then at the end,
Juno release could be.
Hopefully,
the Juno could be entirely untouched by it, but we could be considered.
Yeah, exactly. You have that. You'd have to continuously merge master back in so you don't get out of date.
Yeah.
If it all ends up being ready before September 4th, great, merge it in.
Yeah. I have another hacking change.
Hacking?
Change.
There, yeah, there'll be some. There always is.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna -2 that hacking change, guys.
And no more changes at that level.
It just
That's very disruptive. Needs to be done.
well, that one doesn't. That's just.
No, that's too.
If it was at least intelligently sorting them, I would agree with it. But it's not.
Yeah, it seems to have a weird. I didn't understand.
It just goes. Actually, we as humans have an understanding of the structure of the modules, and when we look at that list and go to sort it, we don't immediately go dot comes before it. We go, oh, that's into the same module. It should be at the top. This one's a longer path going into that module. This one's another longer path. Oh, we'll sort those alphabetically, but leave that one at the top. No. Assholes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should have the server's endpoint. Finally came up.
I don't care.
Sorry, I should have.
They're not. Fine.
I should just go down and find your man, but get that joint you signed.
Okay, so is there anything else we have to flesh out here? There's a lot of detail inside of
Yeah.
what we're talking about here.
Yes, so she's named already in the. Oh, she's
There's an
named
edit button.
We are talking about the server pool, man.
Exactly.
We're not talking about the server pools. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't further continuing to dig at pools. I think we now need to go back, but actually right back with some detail.
Yeah, I'll update the overall spec that we have with a lot of this detail.
Yeah. And we have these 2 pages of notes as well, which we should probably, if anyone has anything they haven't noted down, I think is relevant, put it down.
Why don't we just we are going to do away with the agent? You need to we can make that call now, right?
I'm okay with making that call right now. We don't need it.
I think we can make that call. Why don't we just say we don't need the agent?
Oh, you,
you're looking at them above the waist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking over at the table, shaking his head. And then...
Someone else did that.
Oh, because we made our own office.
Whatever.
We'll put it back when we're done.
Okay. So.
I'm making the call to
I
get
think
rid of
we
it.
can make the
We
call
don't.
to get
We
rid
only.
of it.
Have, we only.
We don't
need
need the agent anymore.
We need it for TSIG, which we've now decided is manual.
Yeah. Okay. So once we.
That's it. I'd be delighted to get rid of it.
So when you guys rewrite the back end, the bind 9 one will be done manually. It'll have a not implemented error when they try to do it, and just you don't even have to worry about updating that agent anymore.
We're doing it all now at the moment. All of the backends are getting.
Yeah, no, but they're.
Oh yeah, but, yeah.
I'm just saying, go ahead and just drop support for that agent. Don't even bother with it.
So how does the zone creation?
You do an RNDC, just do a remote RNDC.
Bind, it's an RNDC, parity NS, it's drop it into the database. TSD, it's a remote call anyway. Free IPA, it's a remote call.
The sudo stuff can go away too. That's all. No, it can't, because you still need to be able to sudo on a box.
It's a library that we pull in. So
you still have to do that.
Yeah, that one's simpler. We can try and kill that. We do have one annoyance though for us killing the agent. Kind of.
We're so.
No, and beyond.
Do we need it?
We do for MS one.
Yeah, but we can fix that. That needs to be fixed anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a reason for agent.
We have an internal driver.
The bar loop thing probably goes away too.
Yeah. We have a driver for Microsoft DNS that
Get upstream?
it will get upstreamed once we can not upstream it relying on the agent, because we don't want anything relying on the agent. So I didn't want to add more code that used it. I wanted to kill that code and find a proper way to do it.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what we end up using for the agent for that.
We can.
We
can fix that easily enough. Alright.
Massively simplified this.
Which is what I love.
Well, that's amazing. I'm gonna get way more complicated.
Yeah, we haven't written it yet, so.
And if we had a massive, even bigger. So I'm really happy that we've managed to reduce the scope down to something that happens without a lot of complexity. It means we should actually be able to write this, reason about it, make sure it's actually go very, very quickly. Yeah, very happy with that. Does it, for both of you guys, does this whole new, the reduced scope one, does it cover everything that you guys are looking for?
So,
Um,
At the end of the day, I need to be able to maybe provision multiple masters, maybe.
so write the change out to 2 different places.
Yeah, maybe.
Do
And
you
what
do
they-
that as the back end driver would write to
That
do you
this will
just
handle solve that.
Yeah.
And I say maybe because I'm sure it'll change this week when I get back.
Thing that's kind of that we've left out of this that I think is probably quite relevant to you guys putting it into production is the fact that the full zone pool is configured as the default at that given point in time versus balancing out. But I can't imagine that's an issue day one. That's a
It's a ways off.
yeah.
So, by the time we have an opportunity to start moving towards it, hopefully we'll have that kind of stuff.
To talk about like redesigning the record tables, or splitting up the database tables of the version.
Yeah, there's Betsy had I think she started work on it. I haven't seen any of these.
The record types.
Splitting we currently have one giant records table. That only goes so far. So instead of doing that, create a table for each of the record types, so that we can actually put it in there. What is it? 255 car and then string, so we can make it a bit more efficient.
Yeah, that's just not getting late.
Sorry, I had to reboot my machine before it would let me back on.
No problem. Yeah, but there's no rush, I don't think. That should all be mostly hidden anyway. All right.
Lunch. You look crazy bird there.
What do we have?
Gonna hit the window.
So it was the one I mentioned yesterday about the driver support.
That one.
Those big virtually, but
It almost hit the window. Into what?
Or kind of that thing I mentioned yesterday.
Oh, right.
I like the idea of A, B, and C.
I like the idea of levels.
I guess.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean A, B, and C. I meant like graduated levels of support.
I kind of.
Whatever we call it.
I kind of almost prefer if they were levels, like where one is clearly a better level than the other, more like. This one's not automated testing. This one is, this one is.
What about with Designate mental? Of course, it won't be.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what we figure out.
So
and again, it's only a label. It's only something that.
True though, because you'll have somebody who's
Official for
maybe
Maybe
tested but not.
I mean supported.
Sorry, are y'all displaying something, or are you using the Etherpad?
Oh, we're just
We're
talking.
Oh, okay.
We're not in a conference room. Abandoned half of the building. We lost the conference room.
About how to label the different driver backends so that users understand the different levels of support / ability, testedness, etc. about those backends.
Putting some notes down the end of the Etherpad. So there's no reason for things to only have one label.
What if
so
you did like
maybe
fine. That would clearly fall in the unreliable category.
that are gated.
But tested
So,
through the formal process.
Well,
Maybe
so-
being run at another site. So if there's a way to come up with a label that's saying it's being run somewhere,
how the hell do you spell nominum?
capital NOMINU.
I think I maybe the 3 statuses, and I'm going to stick what each of them are. Stable plus. Nothing preventing us from putting 2. I can only type GATED.
So you can
These
have
are current statuses.
Well, bind is stable. Just
So does experimental plus gated make sense?
We don't have the DevStack job actually running against it. So right now we have to set up some more jobs.
okay.
Where I would line 9 experimental until you can scale it out properly.
But you need to get that in Juno.
Yeah, I want to try and I want to try and get this into the documentation with a list of all the backends and their set of things in the documentation before we do the Juno release, so that it's we don't.
I'm sorry. You want line 9 to be stable and gated?
I do.
by
Yes.
Juno.
These are just current statuses. This will change. And we absolutely, hopefully, will have a 100% solid Juno finishes.
Yeah.
But maybe just having those 3, experimental, stable, and gated, where something can be, stable and gated, or just stable. That kind of covers nominum.
Yeah, I agree.
Those
I don't
making them sound
I don't
crap.
think they would be bad about that.
And it just means we shouldn't get too many people going, this doesn't work. Well, you're using the experimental one.
Yeah.
We can. Are people happy with those kind of 3 labels?
Yep.
ABC or 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
or other things.
Anything that's kind of ABC, fully supported, unsupported crap, they're clearly a hierarchy.
It's a little bit of a hierarchy.
They are. Those experimental, stable, gated, not really, because you can be gated, you can be stable and gated. Do you know what I mean? And we recommend you choose a stable plus gated driver, in the documentation. Then we have to actually go set up a few more DevStack jobs to run the other backends, like bind. Okay. Go ahead and put up a review on the documentation for that. Is there any other bits and pieces people wanted to talk about while we were here?
Today in the items to cover, did we have anything more?
I'll check it, but I'm pretty sure.
So we had blueprint review, PC API definition, and objects.
Yeah, they kind of all got done. That list got written up on the whiteboard, changed around a little. Went through everything that you had put on the whiteboard yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're
Fairly
implicit from the
relevant,
API.
We did the RPC API calls, and they're documented in the pictures that are up.
Yeah. No, it's just a case of writing it up before it all gets out of our head.
We'll have a 2-hour flight tomorrow.
Right, for the blueprints, we should probably target getting it done. It's still fresh in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the deadline is
Specifically
the-
2 weeks.
Specifically the blueprint for pools.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
Pools, yeah, if we expect
There's
specs,
other blueprints that I'm going to deliver, but I don't
No,
know if
yeah.
I'll have them all done by the 2
no,
weeks.
if we call it 2 weeks for pools, blueprints, and specs,
If we don't,
As soon as you have them written up, put them up, and that way,
sorry.
you know,
if we
fresh in our
don't,
heads. But that's not what we agreed because we can still run it.
if we don't have Audit Trail and iExpert, it's going to be the end of the world
No.
in Juno. Okay.
No, I think we can.
Maybe the end of the world
Except
for your
except for my
servers.
165,000 record domain.
Okay, you can just run Juno plus a few commits.
That one's not targeted for any of our initial stuff. It was just a test one.
I mean, Andre was looking for something to work, so I don't know if he's willing to pick up.
He's going to take all our backends, strip them all, wire them up to Mini.js properly.
I mean, there's names on these now, but if someone feels like I don't have time.
Yeah,
Just, you know, let them
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
If at the IRC meeting we have a standing item, if people call in.
Yeah, if it turns, trust me, you guys will hear that I'm not able to. Right now I'm committing to it, but if I can't get to it,
The IRC Wednesday meeting is the first.
what do you guys?
server pools.
Yeah. What do you guys commit a week to develop? What do you commit a week to development effort? Is it 2 days a week, 3 days a week right now?
We've been better over the last month or two, I think.
Yeah, you have, but I mean,
a lot more code up. Days on it.
Exactly.
We're shipping a product.
Would you say?
Hey guys, y'all keep cutting in and out. Can you hear me?
If someone
Yes.
how long would it take?
Yeah,
Y'all keep cutting in and out.
at most.
Okay.
There isn't a lot here.
Let me turn up the volume.
Okay, let's get started.
Yeah,
Is that any better?
I'll set expectations.
I could probably
with
do
my
it on the
manager.
plane on the way home. So
My managers will understand. They need this.
So far.
couple weeks,
What'd you say? A couple weeks?
couple of weeks for the initial.
I
up,
agree.
Couple of weeks development time. It'll be reviewed. You know,
Graham's gonna approve everything I do.
no, he's not.
You haven't seen what I'm like in our internal Garrett's.
You don't know what kind of coder I am.
Not yet. We're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks.
Should we get some lunch then?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are y'all going to be back on this afternoon, or are y'all done, or what?
I think I can't think of anything else we need to do.
That's
That
what
was
I
not
was
something we
thinking.
As we have left.
Yeah.
So do you know when we'll hear back about the talks? When do they make a
A couple of
decision?
weeks.
It's minimum. Well, we have to vote.
I think at least 3 of them are gonna go.
If not all of them.
Yeah, I think
Which
I
one?
think I think the service schools
The
will
one.
too.
I'd say that'll get through. I don't. Closer to November.
That's true. That's more work, but that's not until like like last time we scrambled to get it all done at the end.
I'd be okay with that.
Apologies for not being too inclusive.
Yeah.
More so for you.
We'll catch up on.
Well, IRC anyway. Are we going? This week's IRC meeting, we're on the plane again.
Yeah. Yes.
Will we call this week's meeting postponed to next week?
Yeah.
Are people
Okay.
right? Cool.
No, I really
What time
need to
are
talk
they
to you guys tomorrow.
I'm gonna go see if I can find Omri still out.
Julius,
Almost a week and I haven't met him.
Julian is saying we do have a thing of pretty.
It's on an Ash OpenStack.
I got an invite for
Oh no, so did I, and I accepted it.
These are pretty harsh. So
I
the
see.
same.
My
The
problem
same
with
driver
it
will actually tell
Oh,
you.
okay.
You said it was from what channel?
They'll have a status of whether or not it's completely supported. If support is basic or minimum, and then they have
Jesus.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, a lot of the
Entire
vendors,
matrix.
a lot of the vendors don't play. They write
stickers
standards
yet?
and can't percent generic sticker.
Are you
My
still
scanner
carrying them
still has
around?
support it.
Sure, let's take some stickers with me.